Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, it's probably going to be my last video of the year. Have yourself a great New Year's celebration if that's what you're going to do. Or maybe just play some games, whatever. But enjoy it. So, what's going down? Firstly, I was wrong about two things yesterday. And I'm not one to kind of like shirk away from admitting when I'm wrong. So, I'm going to call those two things out. One for the good and unfortunately one for the bad. And then also, we're going to tackle in this video probably the biggest growing problem in Raid Shadow Legends, which absolutely needs to be sorted out. It's always been a problem, by the way, but we just need to draw some more light on it because it's growing. It's this ever-growing beast, which we're going to tackle. So firstly, I was wrong about the flipping the cards for Gwendolyn. Yeah, I just done a Gwendolyn video, which I just dropped. And yeah, basically, I thought you had to flip every single card to get Gwendolyn, and I thought it was coded that way. It is not. That was just my luck. Okay, that was just my rub of the green. We could see here, let me just count, make sure that I haven't been bamboozled. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Hold on. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 90, 100. He's got 100 fragments, and there's still 6 cards waiting to be pulled. Apparently, loads of people commented in my video yesterday, oh, you know, you must be some sort of idiot because you don't know the math. I didn't know the math. Apparently, it's like 60% chance you do have to pull them all for some reason. But anyway, it's not a scam. I just felt like I was scammed in the moment. So there you go. Put that one right. The second thing I was wrong about, which is unfortunate, is the tournament event. So I thought it was an event rather than a tournament, didn't read it properly, and I thought everyone was going to have a chance to get a 4-star soul if they picked up a tournament. Unfortunately, it's just a 1-star soul that everyone can get, and only one in, is it 1 in 100? And you've got to be pretty damn active and on it. Yeah, 1 in 100 will have the chance to get the 4-star soul, and this comes down to obviously game time, it comes down to resources, etc. It comes down to who's in your group, all of those things. You can get a lot of points quite quickly. You do get points through things like skill tomes and you know, ranking people up and all that type of stuff. Do they add in mythicals here in case anyone picked one up? By the way, I'm not sure. For things like booking. Yeah, mythicals gets like 500 points. So if you picked one up, like I did, got my first mythical the other day, or you might want to pick up your Mikage, don't remember how to say her name, Mikage. Then, you know, maybe you want to put some books into her if you've got some. So this is only going to be for those who really want to push for it. And imagine keeping a bit of an eye on your group. You either want to like burst out ahead and try and scare everyone off trying, or you want to keep an eye on it. But what I would say is 10k for a legendary tome is pretty good value. Okay, so doing up to here anyway is good value, and then you can kind of get an idea of what's going on in your group. And again, I've done this, I've showcased like the easy way to do this a number of times, so I'm not going to do it in this video, but I'll link one of the videos where I show it down below. You literally get 4 times the points from doing a very basic method of leveling, so I'll link that down below. Yeah, the other thing, I was just actually looking at this, was global leaderboard here. Imagine if you got this guy, Seaman, Papaguku. Yeah, look, imagine if you got these guys in your group, how sad you would be right now. So I guess keep an eye on what's going on for yours, but expect there'll be plenty of people that hit 10k. So some people might race to 10k and then be disinterested in the soul. So bear that in mind as well. And this feels better, by the way, I know it's still unlikely that people are in the mix of this, but finally, more than one reward for global rewards. So that's actually okay. But yeah, I thought most people would be able to get a Tormund soul. They can't. It's a shame. It's a shame, Raid. Happy New Year, Raid. Right, let's talk about then the big problem, right? The growing problem, and it's going to be silver. So since the city of Cintranos opened, I think I've spent 70 mil silver. Regearing, I'm only just moved into like the crux of the tough stuff. Yeah, I've been fairly relaxed over Christmas and stuff. And, you know, recorded videos, obviously, but not done anywhere near as much raiding as I normally would. I've been picking off a lot of the easy, low-hanging fruits. And now I've got to a couple of areas. So, basically, I'm starting to get to the point where I have to gear people. Like, I have to re-gear or gear champions to get through this content. Now, my first actual roadblock, I didn't realize this was the case until I started looking properly. This is an actual roadblock. You have to beat the Iron Twins to get through it, okay? We've got another actual roadblock on S8 that you have to beat to be able to progress. Another one here for the Sand Devil dude, which is the next one for me. And then you've got a couple of like spokes that you have to kind of like deal with. So it's either going 13 or 16. And then I think there's a nasty few, honestly. I think it might be this one is nasty. There is S24, which is hella nasty. Yeah, maybe S25. Is this the one? No, that's not too bad. S14. There's a lot of really, really like insane levels. I think it might be this one, S20, where kind of looking through the best teams. And maybe it's not this one. There's one where I looked at. I'm just trying to find it now. Maybe it's 60. No. Which one is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, this one. S19, where you get offered absolutely trash champions, honestly. Well, not trash, but you've got like Morag, who's decent. You've got Nullhorn, or I think people are going to have to use for crowd control. And it's ropey. It's ropey as hell. Where's your damage coming from? Basically just Morag. And then if we look at like the best teams in the game, you know, some people have just done... It's hard. Like there's only 18 people that have got past this stage so far. And, you know, Nullhorn's coming in there, Morag's coming in there, Rock Breaker's in there. It's tough, yeah. And I can imagine it's probably RNG heavy as well. Because not only this wave is a problem for the final one, but earlier than that, it's even harder. So, yeah, there's tons of re-gearing that's needed. There's tons of leveling of champions that's needed. Like, I'm spending tons of resources, and luckily I have a lot because I haven't had to do it much in recent times. But for the average player, it's way too much. It's very costly. They had like the free re-gear for the first week. We should, like, that wasn't long enough because for the first week you were placing against really the easier content, right? Now that people are getting into the business end of this, this first effort, I can't imagine anyone who's not spending like millions of silver trying to get through content. I can't imagine there's anybody that plays a game that's not having to do that. You know, moving your best gear around to be able to beat some of the higher content is exactly what's going to happen. So millions and millions of silver's getting eaten up. So for the average player, it's just inconceivable to even be involved. And even for, you know, the player that's super active, it's extremely costly, probably too costly. So I think there's some stuff that has to change at this moment. Like, releasing content like this, Raid, it's great content, but some stuff has to change. Ash did a good video on this the other day, by the way, as well. Like, when you beat a level in Cintranos, there should be a big, hefty silver payout. Every level, every single level should have like a, I don't know, 3 million. Maybe it scales up from like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. I don't know. Like, it needs to be a big number because we're having to move a ton of gear around to make this stuff happen. Yeah, it's really, really tough. And when you've got roadblocks like this one, when I beat it with, honestly, Burns, and Staying Alive. Brogni seems to be MVP for this. When I'm looking at best teams, you've got like just Brogni's in the best team list. You've then got this roadblock here, which is Sand Devil. I've seen some cheese strats, actually. I'm just going to show you this quickly. What I look at for these type of roadblocks is like, right, what mechanics do I need? Firstly, can I sleep this dude, which is one of the key mechanics? So when I go into this, I'm using the raid tools now a lot more than I ever was. So I'm like, right, what champions have I got that can sleep? And I've actually only got 2. Chador is MVP for this, so that's fine. He will actually work. But other than that, it's whether you've got a Cage Breaker or not, who's probably living in the vault, and he only does it on a 3-turn if you book him. You're probably not going to book him just for this, so it's a 4-turn, which is long. So after that, I'm like, well, if I can't sleep him, do I have anyone who can give me revive on death for my team? Yeah, because that's another way to kind of like, I guess, cheese the boss. Or not cheese it, but try and beat it. The only champion in there is Shamrock, and he does it only when you've got low health. So that's not even a strat. So after that, I'm like, well, what's left? And the only other thing I can think of really that is definitely going to work or should work is champions that have got self-revive. And this is kind of what we do with the Godseeker strat in essence. And then when you're looking through champions here, there's people that have got revive, but the only ones that have got self-revive are Bushy. Yeah, so revives his champion with 30% HP and puts unkillable on them for a turn. That's on a 3-turn cooldown, so he should be able to solo it with the right stats. And Basilisk, who again has got this revive with 30% HP, puts block damage on them. This is on a 6-turn cooldown. So you basically need to get them to stats where they can cycle their abilities quick enough, but then and put them in like big regen and immortal sets. That's pretty much all I can think of to get through it as like a solo comp. Yeah, so that's possible, but they've got to be quick. They've got to have decent stats to be able to make that work. And then it's a really slow burn anyway because they're not legendaries, which means that you only really kill this guy with like War Master hits. So yeah, or I guess Toxic Gear, but you can't put Toxic Gear on because you need the regen. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and it might be that you need someone like a Pythian in, a big like damage reduction set. Yeah, so that he stays alive and then he revives your whole team. Or I guess similar for Broadmoor, he revives your whole team. But it's tough going out there, right? So it's tough going for some of these roadblocks, and I can't imagine anybody not needing to do a full like regear for this one and for some of these later ones. So more silver in Cursed City feels like a no-brainer. More silver for selling stuff which is not Spider. Yeah, so the only way people really earn decent silver right now is by going into Spider and just farming a load of artifacts and selling a load off. Increase the silver sell rate for the other dungeon sets. That's another one. That's number 2. Increase the silver sell rate for anything in campaign. Reduce the cost to move gear. We've seen it in a number of other games. I play Watcher of Realms. You can do literally free regearing, but their economy is different. I get that. They've built the game so that they can do that, okay? And I'm not saying Raid shouldn't do it, but the Raid's economy is not built around that. But it shouldn't be, if I was just to like change gear, let's just go in the fitting room a second here. Let's say I wanted to equip this, and this. I mean, you know it. It's not like I'm showing you something which you don't know. But, we're talking insane amounts of silver to swap gear around. Insane. Just to change his main pieces, it's over 1 million silver. It's just incredible numbers. Yeah, it's just like for one full regear. And that's before I'm thinking about anybody else or leveling gear or anything. It's just swapping gear. 1.3 million. It's so much. Reduce that at least by half. At least. Maybe even reduce it by 75%. And then we've got some sort of notion of how that can make some sense. You could reduce the cost to upgrade gear as well. Mainly it's moving it though, honestly. Like if I think about any of my free-to-play challenges I've done, it's not just a City of Sintranos problem. Early players get really frustrated with this as well. It's so costly and it bankrupts people to the point where, is it fun to play the game? And I think they probably lose a lot of new players because of this problem. So it's growing. It's a real issue. I think reduce silver cost here, improve silver cost for selling, get big lumps of silver from Cintranos, and we're starting to get somewhere. But it really is an issue at the moment. Like it's an insane problem. I think even, you know, even taking people up in levels, should this cost silver? You know, everything costs silver. I just don't feel like we need as many pain points with it. It's just so many pain points. Why am I paying the tavern? I'm providing the brews. Why am I paying the tavern to drink my own beer? What is it, like a levy? Anyway, let me know what you think about it. Are you finding the same sort of issues? But yeah, definitely, I feel like it's a growing problem, and we just need to raise more awareness on it if it does feel like it's a pain point for you. Anyway, I've been Hell Hades. Have a great new year, and I'll see you in the next one.